Thanks for everyone for coming. It is Wednesday, January 25th. This is a meeting of the HDC committee. There's a statement that needs to be read on every evening that we have this meeting. So here's the statement. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff of the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the town and are hereby made part of each and every application heard tonight. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made part of each and every application. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. The Historic District Design Guidelines have been adopted by the town of Sykesville in accordance with Article 6B 8.06a of the Maryland Code and follow the recommendations of the United States Secretary of the Interior. The Sykesville Historic District Commission follows Robert's Rules of Order with the exception that the chairperson votes. Okay, we have an agenda. Do you have the agenda up? Okay. First thing on the agenda is the meeting minutes from November 30th, 2022. Have you had a chance to review them? Okay, I have as well. How do we vote since there's only two of us?
Well, one of you would motion, the other would second, and then you would call for all in favor.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from November 30th.
All in favor? Try and say aye.
Aye.
All right. First on our application this evening is the continuation of application 2022-22 for siding, window, and shutter replacements for 7318 Springfield Avenue. Can you step to the podium and present your application for this evening? Please state your name before you begin.
Hi, my name is Mike Marsden of 7318 Springfield Avenue, and as you mentioned, this is a continuation of an application that was reviewed, number 22-2022. If I may, I'd like to just go ahead and hand out what I had as a summary from the last meeting.
Thanks,
I've got one more too, Carrie.
Excellent, thank you.
I have one. Electronic one.
This is
different?
one that I've
Okay.
kind of done up just to kind of keep me on track tonight.
Okay.
So as I reviewed the minutes from the last meeting, the siding, windows, and trim package and flagstone for the porch materials were all approved at November's meeting. The follow-ups that I took away from that meeting were that the committee had recommended that I bring some samples of the porch post, which I will show in just a moment, and also the beadboard that I had. I'm looking to install underneath the porch soffits. So the second element for tonight was to explore the options regarding shutters. I had proposed a synthetic shutter option. I'm open to suggestions of what the committee would find acceptable. Wood seems to be very expensive, and where I can find the wood, of course, it takes quite a while to do the refurbishment, which also adds to the cost. So the synthetic ones or the composites are not cheap either. So it's kind of, it's 6 of 1. So again, just to reset for tonight, it was to explore the shutter options, the porch post, and the beadboard. And then thirdly, I've got on here, and I didn't know if we could review it tonight, but I'd like to request doors. I've got 2 doors, one front door, one side door, and I've provided the specs and kind of the elevation in my attachments.
So I think I saw something here on there that you requested that the front door be moved over or shifted. Is that part of this application as well?
That was part of the application
Previously?
in November. Yeah. So we did an architectural rendering which showed a replacement of the 3 windows, and then the front door is going to be roughly where it is today.
So who are you thinking for using for shutters, and do you have sizes for those shutters?
They would be working shutters, historically working shutters. So it would be based on the size of the windows. All the windows are different. So it would be the front windows and then the windows on the side of the house.
So generally, fiberglass or plastic shutters do not have a backing to them.
Okay.
So working shutters, you would have exposed molding on the back, so you would be hollowed on the back side of the shutters. So that would probably be problematic if you wanted to actually make them working shutters. So you'd have to use either composite material or a wood one to be actually a working shutter.
Yeah.
So if you were to replace them with fake shutters, then you could replicate that size-wise so that it looks like it covers the opening, but you want to be able to obviously operate them.
Yeah, the ones that I had proposed at the last meeting, there was, I think I can pull up the specs here, but they
Pull back
close.
as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were, I think, they're actually a composite PVC and some other material.
Uh-huh.
And I think the PVC was the thing that kind of snagged the committee. And so I think the committee was going to go and look at some other options. I don't know if that happened or not, but
Well, like you said, there is only a limited amount of options available for that. So I think we're more concerned about the size of the shutter and actually the finish of the shutter as well, the historic character of the shutter. Our guidelines say that if you're using some sort of plastic element, it can't be shiny, it has to be a matte finish. So that's one of the, obviously, it looks like you're going to be painting them black. Is that an actual picture from the website of who you're using?
Yep. Yeah, and that's going to be the final look for the windows and the siding.
Okay.
So that's I wanted to try to include it all.
Comments, Mike?
No, I kind of agree. That's probably the best we're going to find.
What's used on the log cabin home down here that they've replaced? Are they wood?
You know, I'm not sure. I drove past and I could not tell, or actually I walked past and I could not tell, and I didn't see anything without digging up into the attic for what it was made out of.
Yeah.
And most of the shutters here in town, they are plastic,
Yeah.
but they're not working.
Yeah.
They're just for decoration. Where these are working, and I haven't seen too many working ones other than wood, which is very expensive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to talk about your post?
Oh yeah.
Is that FIPON or is that just wood? Or?
It is it's a solid wood core, as you can see. And it's like a plexiglass or plastic exterior.
Okay. And then how does this match the other ones that are on the front? Because you're only using this. Where are you using this at exactly? Your side porch?
Side porch and front porch.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
So they're both rotted. So you're just going to be replacing them both.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you want to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that paintable?
This is paintable, yes. Yep.
And what about the bracket conditions that are existing there that are flanking each side of the column that are shown in the image?
Oh, they'll stay.
Okay.
In the front, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll reuse them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so we talked about the shutters. We talked about the column. What about the doors? Oh, they were already approved.
They weren't.
Okay.
So the doors are they're 6 light. They're true divided light. They are wood doors. They are veneer. They're a mahogany door. They have to be stained. Mm-hmm. So I've gotten them sized exactly the same size as the doors that are on the house today.
Okay. And the beadboard. So this is just going under both porch locations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Mike, questions?
No questions on me.
Okay. I mean, I've used Versatech on many projects. It's a good product. Just make sure it expands and contracts the PVC, so it has to be gapped correctly. Just heads up. I don't have an issue with the doors. The shutters, as long as they're appropriately sized to replicate the full opening of the window and the finish that we talked about, so it's a matte finish. And then, of course, are you going to be providing the door hardware or the shutter hardware as well? Is that
Shutter
the same
dogs.
manufacturer?
Yeah, the hinges and shutter dogs.
Okay, same deal.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to approve the application?
I'll motion to approve the application number 2301.
You're going to have to amend it. to
It's
include
not, that was the wrong number. That's the next one coming up. It's 22-2202 is the one. And what was your question?
You have to amend it because these doors aren't included on that original.
So just give a brief description of the columns, the beadboard, and the shutters,
Okay.
doors.
Okay, to approve the application 22-2202 at Springfield Avenue, number 7318, for the shutters as presented tonight, the columns as presented this evening, and the doors as presented as they would be all wood and stained. And that's it.
Beadboard ceiling.
And the beadboard ceiling, sorry about that.
Okay. Just remember, non-shiny finishes on all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that'll be in your approval letter too.
Okay.
Look for that in the mail. Or
Okay.
I have your email. I can email you too.
Okay.
Second to the motion? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Should I
You can,
stay?
If
you can
want to.
stay, you can leave, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Okay. Second on the application this evening is 2023-01 for a deck and pool at 7617 Mellor Avenue. Renee, is that?
Yes.
Can you step up to the podium and kind of describe your application this evening for us?
Okay. I didn't prepare.
It's okay. Just a brief overview.
So we are proposing to install an above-ground pool in our, we have an L lot, so there's really no backyard, so our whole land is basically in the L. So we are going to install a 18 by 34 foot above ground pool with some sort of deck around it. We don't have a vision for that as of right now, other than it will be some sort of composite deck, either fully around the pool, partially around the pool. We don't know because we don't have the pool built.
Okay. Okay, there's a shed. I'm just trying to orient myself to where the pool will be located in relationship to the house and the road.
Let me see.
It's in that open lot where she's with her mouse back there?
There.
Yes,
Yes.
right there. You're right, Carrie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the house is pretty far back from Mellor Avenue, and then we have just that little bit of area behind our house, and then most of our land goes the other way, there, where Carrie's got that.
So I guess the biggest question is how much of this pool is going to be visible from Mellor Avenue? Is it obstructed by?
None. Mike knows where we live, right, Mike? Yeah, I mean, it just,
Because this falls under secondary structures, correct? Under our guidelines?
Yes. Secondary
see.
structures and porches and decks of what we
Mhm.
can use it for.
I'm thinking as you drive by our house, you might not see the pool at all.
I don't think you'll see any of it.
I have a picture.
Oh, there you go.
Is that your house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring it over
Okay,
so
yeah,
everybody
I
can
don't
see it. And
see-
you can let them know where this pool's going to be.
Okay.
Is that you
Oh,
right
there
there?
you go. Right there.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, so it's going to be to the right?
The house is there.
It's
and the
going to be
pool's
behind Patrick and Aaron's house, basically, who are neighbors to the right. So it won't be visible from Mellor.
Okay. Is there any proposed fencing or anything that goes around the pool for safety reasons? Is there like a security fence for children and? fall
Our whole
protection?
yard is fenced already.
Oh, so it'll be, okay.
Yes, and then the deck around the pool, we are proposing a deck, a fence
Okay.
that's attached to the deck.
And what did you say the deck's going to be made from?
Our thought was composite.
Composite?
Yeah.
Okay, so brush treated base and composite lumber. So I think our guidelines only indicate that, if it's not visible from the street, it's not really applicable.
And Essentially, it's considered a temporary structure because you could take it down at any point. I mean, not
Yes,
that you would
you
want
could.
to, but you
Right.
could.
Correct, right, it's not, right. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the deck would be really more of what you all would be approving than the pool at this point, if the
Yeah.
pool
Right.
was seen. And the deck, I think it would be mostly similar to, was it 6999 Cedar Avenue? Which is on a non-contributing building that really can't be seen. I mean, that one's only seen in the winter when there's no leaves on the trees.
Yeah.
And that one was composite.
Yeah, basically, the only way it would really be seen is if
If you're really
Aaron
looking
and-
for it.
yeah, if you pull up in the drive or Aaron and Patrick tear their house down.
I don't see that happening.
That would
No,
be a
I do
different-
not. Yeah,
different
they would have to
application.
stand here and apply for that. Yes.
Mike, comments, questions?
The only comment that I have is, as you say, you're not going to see it from Miller Avenue, but the folks on Maple, like that gray house, they have a deck coming out the back of their house which faces. Is that going to be a problem? I know a lot of people don't like to have, people watching the pool and everything.
Is that going to be a problem for them or us?
For you.
Oh. We've thought of that. Like, yeah.
Right now,
I mean-
right now they're trees, they're evergreens that are there.
Yeah, there's those tall evergreens, Mike. But, I mean,
It's on wheels.
it's not, it's not ideal, for sure. But it is what it is, kind of, Their deck's higher, so we couldn't even build a fence high enough so they couldn't see over unless we put it under a bubble.
Because then there's those houses kind of around the corner from that. They're like a yellow house and a green house. They're kind of facing your yard as well. I don't know if that's an issue.
The yellow house that's,
They have like 3 kids and it's
is that where they made that garage? The Amish people put the garage up for
Just
their
go to satellite view and doing, top view
That wasn't what I
satellite.
want.
Just get out of there.
No, I was just concerned about that because if you constructed this and then, because I know it's not going to be cheap, it's going to be a lot of money, but then you think, well, gee, we've got all the neighbors in the neighborhood watching us in the pool.
Right. We have thought of that because of the oddity of the way our backyard is.
That's a strange backyard the way it's laid out.
It's very strange. So we provide fence for 5 different neighbors basically. If any of them are in their backyard, they will see us. But it's fenced, so it can't come over unless
And I
invited.
noticed you did supply a survey to make sure they would fit and everything.
Yes. Yes.
And then you've got those big wide pine trees.
Yeah, they provide some privacy
Yeah.
per se. Yeah, they're more of a hindrance than a help. in
But
my
once
mind.
again, if it's not privy to the street view, it's really not within our jurisdiction to kind of.
Well, my only concern was what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
That
which is
if
And that's more of like a BZA.
You know,
situation.
if
I
you
mean,
go through
you
all
all are
that and
looking
then
for
you're worried
aesthetics,
about the
really.
neighbors watching and everything.
right. It is something to think about. I appreciate that. But I think the pros outweigh the cons in my
You might need
mind.
to have to put a privacy fence up at some point or something, or
Something maybe on
maybe down the line. something.
one side, or it's hard to envision it actually until we get the pool up of
Yeah.
what we'd really want to do. But
Okay. Mike, is there a motion to approve?
I will go ahead and say I want to approve this, but it's going to go before the other
The Board of
commission.
Zoning Appeals, yeah.
So
For the actual side
that would
yard.
be approve it with the knowing that it's going to have to go through another agency or another meeting.
Commission.
Contingent on the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Correct.
And I would suggest adding something about with a composite deck.
Oh, right, with a
Yes.
composite deck versus a wooden one.
Just make sure if there's anything visible to the street, like I said before, it's non-shiny, PVC railings or anything of that nature. It needs to be flat material.
Okay.
Just heads up. All right. So, made a motion.
Yep.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much for
Okay.
coming in.
Thank you. Thanks, Gary.
Happy swimming.
Yeah, we got it.
Your first pool party list on there.
Block party.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Mike, with all this work, you might consider coming on the committee with us.
I think I got my out earlier when I said architects and engineers.
Hi. We also need people who live in the district, so
Yeah.
And who knows what it feels like to work with a historic house.
yes.
So you fit the bill.
Do you need a hand with that?
I just wanted to get it out of here.
Here, let me get the door for you.
Thank you.
And then I do have a staff liaison update for y'all.
Okay.
So wait till Anna gets back for that one.
He's gonna come back soon.
Mhm. He left his bag there. So I'll just say, Kevin has been, our town planner, has been working on the grant that we received for the guidelines update.
Mm-hmm.
He received 3 proposals, and the one that we think is best is from a company called Brennan and Company Architects. They're a smaller firm located in Ellicott City, and I can send you all this memo from him as well.
Mm-hmm.
They've proposed various meetings with the HDC for the guidelines, a re-look at the historic structures to make sure they're all labeled correctly and classified correctly,
Did you want to take our sample?
and all sorts of fun stuff.
Thank you so much.
Nay.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. So we reached out, our previous guidelines writer, Richard Wagner, who's
Yep.
done a lot of work with us. We reached out to him, and he actually recommended this company. He is mostly retired at this point, so he
Okay.
was not.
Makes sense.
So we're working with them to finalize the contract, and then once we get that, we'll get started on writing or updating our guidelines.
Great.
And
Can I
the
ask a
company,
question?
Yes. Other one.
go ahead, Mike.
I just had a quick question.
Mhm.
I sent you an email about
Yes.
what my ideas were. I kept coming up with the same thing every time I was reading something. It always had to do with wood doors, wood windows. Was that what you were looking for?
That was great. That was perfect. Yep. And Richard Wagner, so the guy that wrote our previous guidelines, he actually specializes now in like sustainable materials for historic buildings. And Kevin talked to him at length about that, and he's actually willing to come and talk to you all about it as well during the guideline update, so that way we can update with more current materials that are still historically accurate.
Okay. That'd be great. When do we foresee that happening?
That would be sometime during the process. So we got to settle the contract with the company first and all that fun stuff. So
Fall, maybe?
I think even before then.
Okay.
Yeah.
This company that you're going to
Mhm.
do the contract through, they have experience updating historical guidelines?
Yes. Yeah. So they have. They've done the Howard County Historic District guidelines.
With Pat Greenwald?
Possibly. I
Okay.
didn't ask about that. I'll have to find out. I know their principal was also on the Baltimore Preservation Commission for a while, and I think they did one other that I don't see in his report here. But he created the Baltimore Landmarks Preservation Commission guidelines as well.
Good.
So yes, so they've done a lot. They know this area. They're based in Ellicott City, so they certainly have a lot of experience with the type of historic structures that we have.
How long do they foresee taking to complete the guidelines once they start?
It's a good question. I do not know. I would think maybe 6 months at the max.
I think before you sign the proposal, you should have them spell that out for us.
Yes,
How many
I'm sure it is.
meetings?
I didn't get that much detail from Kevin. This is I can send you all his staff memo
Okay.
about it, and I'll make sure to ask him about that as well. But they did have like a timeline set out of different meetings that they would attend with you all. I think there was public input on their list.
It should be all in their engagement.
Yes.
If you can get that from Kevin
Sure
before you
can.
sign and disperse it amongst us.
Yep, I'll email it out tomorrow.
Okay, thank
And it would
you.
be nice to have more members on board before we start that process as
Yes.
well. If, you know, knock on wood that we are able to, you know, obtain some people.
Mhm.
So that would be nice. To onboard some people at the same time, or perhaps, so that they're
Yes.
current with the new guidelines and
Right.
whatever happens.
Mhm.
It'd be a great opportunity.
Yeah, we've got the one that the mayor was working on. I know our development coordinator, Jana, has a person who is interested only if the guidelines got updated. She had reached out to him a couple years back, and that's what he had said. So now that we're updating, maybe he would be interested in coming on board. So I'll ask her for his contact so we can reach out again. And then we'll just keep trying to find people.
Okay. Any other?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Can you give us an update?